So what's going on, guys? My name is Violent with GRIZZ Zombies. Today we're going to be talking about Cursed Blood and the cycles that revolve around Cursed Blood. Now, to know what Cursed Blood is and how it's going to play a factor into DLC 5, we must first know what happened at the end of Revelations. What happened at the end of Revelations was that the blood vials were able to save the life when the universes were erased and reset back to normal. So with that in mind, these blood vials have major importance, and today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into these cursed realms and talk about the cursed blood cycles that you guys have heard of. Okay, so a few things off the top. We're going to get a little bit of the news out of the way as to what's going down. There was a spring sale for Xbox that announced all releases showing backwards compatibility. You could probably remember back in December when we saw Black Ops 2 on that same screen being announced for some sort of sale. We thought it was going to happen in Christmas time, but it was delayed. Now it's showing that all the games are available except for Black Ops 2. So something is going on with Black Ops 2, and they're not making it backwards compatible. Even though it's confirmed on the screen and saying that all these games are available, Black Ops 2 still is not. That tells me it's conflicting with DLC content that has yet to release, and that tells me that DLC 5 is more realistic than we think. So moving on from that, Call of Duty's kind of in the realm of buying other companies. If you guys didn't know, a company called King, the developer behind Candy Crush Saga, who's working now on a Call of Duty game for mobile. Activision bought them out for $6 billion. That's right. With this buyout, a certain quality is expected. Activision's pushing this Call of Duty mobile game onto King. So since an official company is hired now to actually maintain the mobile app, before we've had the Call of Duty Ghosts app, remember Elite? And that app we were able to download and actually use Clan Wars within it. Maybe we'll actually have an official Call of Duty app someday, and King might also be behind that, but we got to get through their first project first. So let's move back into the storyline a little bit. The map that you saw was Mob of the Dead earlier. We took a look at Revelations. Now we're looking at Shadows of Evil, and all of these are kind of universes and realms that have characters stuck in them. And we've talked about characters being stuck in time, but that's totally different than a cursed realm. There are cursed realms out there that are special, and the reason we know this is because they fracture into other universes. World bleeding, right? And so when that happens, it confirms the fact that these maps have more of a significance to them than all the other maps we've heard of that are stuck in time. Remember, Ascension, Shangri-La, Call of the Dead. Those three maps are stuck in time. The maps that are special that we know of right now, Mob of the Dead and Shadows of Evil. I say those two maps only because Revelations, of course, is a culmination of all of that happening and the ultimate effect of the Shadow Man releasing the Apothicons upon the world. So in the back of my head, Revelations doesn't quite fit into the category of a cursed realm, simply because of the fact that this is the map where all of it comes together. You know what I'm saying? So the cursed realms, we're going to stick to Mob of the Dead and Shadows of Evil. I think those are the two main maps that we can at least 100% sure say Cursed Blood's in. There's characters that are cursed and they live in a revolving cycle. And that's what I want to talk about in this video today, because it's a point that not a lot of people probably understand. And if I harp on it a little bit more, maybe it'll make more sense. So to be frank, if you've missed our other videos on the maps that are stuck in time, a lot of this probably doesn't make as much sense, because there is a definition between stuck in time, being in an endless loop, and then being in an endless loop, but you're in a cursed realm. There's definitely a difference here, and we have to define that in this video, otherwise we can never move forward with that understanding. So the maps, again, that are stuck in time are Shangri-La, Ascension, and Call of the Dead. Links will be in the description box below to all the sources of everything we've talked about in this video, so be sure to check that out before you leave this video, because there's a lot of important things in there. I think the biggest question on everybody's mind is understanding how this information came to be. Did it come from the Chronorium? Did Richtofen put this knowledge forth into our characters in Zetsubou no Shima when they finally realized they could have blood vials as well? Did we come back through Zetsubou no Shima and then back into Zetsubou no Shima, kind of dimensional time traveling, if you will? Did these events take place? You know, these are questions that I still have, but I like to guesstimate at least that this is what happened, and I think that's what happened. I think we went to Mob of the Dead, collected the blood vials, came back to Zetsubou no Shima, and that's how they got their extra life. All of our characters then had blood vials, so it remains to be seen if our characters acknowledge our other characters once we travel into Mob of the Dead. Are they conscious of what's going on, or are they just confused because they're in an endless loop. Every time we've heard them in the sky, they're just talking about the craziness they're dealing with. So they may not have a clue as to what's going on. They may just be fracturing through universes in this endless loop. The last thing I'll touch on is the world bleeding factor. Yes, Mob of the Dead does bleed through other maps. Where do we see Shadows of Evil bleeding in? You see, I think a lot of people seem to just forget that the Shadow Man was in the Summoning Key the entire time. So he's been brought through all these maps, meaning that Shadows of Evil has been bleeding through. It's just as important as Mob of the Dead, and that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. So I will see you guys in the next video for my DLC 5 series. Viollent out!